So fantastic to have very special call. Super excited tonight. Obviously, John Abbott has had a little bit of technical issues, so I'm Patrick Woodcr filling in for John, and we have Nik Halik live online tonight. We're going to hear some extraordinary things. For those of you who don't know, such an honour for us to be talking to Nik. He became a multimillionaire in his late 20s through investments in property and shares, and has done some really clever things. So now he's got homes in Greek islands, Morocco, the US, Australia, all around the world. He calls himself a global wealth strategist, successful entrepreneur, international speaker. Nik's one of the things we love. I mean, he's, apart from just being a super cool guy, a lot of fun, very genuine. His group of companies have educated over 300,000 people, individuals, globally. Just extraordinary. So we think, you know, in terms of his strategies in wealth creation, in investing, in property and shares and in different derivative products, it's just extraordinary. The other thing we love about Nik as adventurers ourselves is that, you know, is some of the things that he's done. And I don't want to, you know, kind of spoil too much of what he's going to share, but needless to say, he's been to some of the most hostile places on the planet, you know, deep under the oceans and high up in the mountains, been up to the edge of space and trained as a civilian astronaut with the Russians. You know, done some really extraordinary things. You can get a lot of that info in his book, The Trillionaire. It was a bestseller back in 2008. So I could probably go on all day about his platitudes and you know, all the extraordinary things that he has accomplished in his short life so far. But look, why not hear it from the man himself? Without further ado, Nik Halik, welcome and thank you so much for your time.
Patrick, what an awesome welcome, and thank you very much for the invite.
Pretty easy to introduce a guy who's done as much stuff as you have, Nik. It's such a pleasure. Thanks for taking the time to share with us.
Very much appreciated. And one thing I want to just probably add there is one thing that I like to do is I like to keep it really I like to keep it real, logical, and just you know, blinding moments of the obvious, you know, halogen moments of certainty. And one thing that I do and how I live my life is, first and foremost, you know, I'm very lifestyle orientated. I mean, I'm a 5-day weekend lifestyle strategist. So whatever I do in my life, you know, all my entrepreneurial stuff and all my businesses around the world, that works around my lifestyle. And that's really, really important because some entrepreneurs and business individuals, they try to cram their lifestyle in whatever little hours they've got left at the end of the week, where I reverse engineer, you know, and pretty much business hack and entrepreneurial hack the entire polarity of the circumstances. So my lifestyle, everything works around the lifestyle. And it's really, really important. So what I do is, Patrick, I live an 8 months on and a 4 months off life. That is 8 months on, I'm out there, the art of the deal, the art of the hustle, the art of entrepreneurialism. And then I literally take 4 months off. And those 4 months off, they're not vacation, because believe it or not, those 4 months are paycation, which basically means I go out there, the most exotic, most remote adventures around the world, you know, real thrilling type stuff, but I'm still able to streamline and generate cash or whatever too. And that's something that I really want to impress upon, you know, the listeners tonight, is that there is something called a 5-day weekend lifestyle, and I'm going to prove it to you beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can transform yourself from a 5-day work week to a 5-day weekend.
Well, we can't wait to hear about that, Nik. It sounds fantastic. By the way, did you just say paycation, not vacation?
Well, yeah, absolutely. No, let me give you a bit of a background there. Now, it's like this. Individuals who go on vacation are usually employees who despise their life. That's why they go on vacation. So think about this. You work your ass off for 4 months. You know, you're working for somebody else. You're maximizing their return whilst they minimize yours. And it's like you're going to work for a parole hearing almost, and you get given some time off. And what do? You go on your vacation, you spend money on your credit card, you max out your credit card, then you're forced to go back to work, back in the trenches to service the debt, the bad debt, all that interest that you've absorbed during your vacation. And I truly believe that if you love what you do, if you love your life and you monetize your life and you monetize your passion, you want to go on vacation, because life is a vacation irrespective.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely relate to that. It's funny, vacation, you think of vacate, it's like empty, right?
Exactly, you're vacating
your life is like if you're waiting for a vacation.
Exactly, you're vacating a mundane existence kind of thing. And it's kind of like It's kind of like your experiential escapism, type scenario kind of thing. But unfortunately, for the first couple of days, you're really excited. But the latter part of your vacation, you're pissed off. Why? Because all
Get back to
that is going back to work.
work.
And knowing you've got all that debt that you now have to service.
Ish. So what's the alternative,
And,
Nick?
well, the reality is this. I mean, I encourage everybody to just, never be an employee, work for yourself, be in business for yourself, create a brand, create this aura about you, but most importantly, solidify your foundations, And one thing you're going to learn about this particular presentation today, and if there's two things you're really going to get out of it is this. I want you to get paid to think. And I want you to imagine this. So imagine this, right? You simply do this. You get paid to think. That is just tapping into your cerebral faculty, your capacity of inductive learning. You get paid to think. And you simply outsource the administration of your ideas to others. Now, allow me to repeat that one more time.
Wow.
You get paid to think and you outsource the administration of your ideas to others. And the reality is this. Most individuals who work 5 days a week, now I'm assuming 5 days a week and you're not working on a Saturday. So working 5 days a week. Patrick, let's examine this, okay? 8 hours a day, that's 40 hours a week.
Yep.
And when you really think about it, that's about 160 hours per month. Now, let's examine the weekly schedule over here, okay? So if you're working 40 hours a week, and that's assuming you're not working on the Saturday or the Sunday, okay? And when you really think about it, most individuals who are employees only have 1 day off on their weekend. It's a Saturday. Because Sunday, you're just pissed off because you're thinking about going to work the next day on the Monday. That's why humanity loves Friday. Why? Because Friday is that financial liberation day. It's that emancipation. You're excited because you've got the weekend to look forward to. Monday, humanity is depressed. Why? It's so true, right?
Yeah.
Friday, we love our Fridays. The Aussie Bella, the Australians out there in the marketplace, they love their long weekends. Whether it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, they love the long weekends. And what I do is I teach you the fundamentals, the logistical steps, step 1, 2, 3, step 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, in relation to how to live a 5-day weekend lifestyle. So if you love your long weekends, imagine living a 5-day weekend type lifestyle. Now, I'm not insinuating you become lazy and you just sit back and you start doing nothing. No way. I want you to be productive. Now, I want you to optimize yourself. I want you to life hack, entrepreneurial hack, and business hack everything that you've heard in your life and start to do things very uniquely, right? Because if you're listening to this call, first up, you know you're unique. You're incredibly unique, and out of 1 billion sperm cells, you won the gold medal, so congratulations.
Woo!
There are ways to realign, recalibrate, and reharness new energy technologies and opportunities out there. And it just means that we have to adapt to the changes. And one of the most important things you will listen to tonight about is this, adaptation. Because those who adapt survive. Those who adapt will also thrive. And that's a really important component. So let's continue here. So for those who don't know who I am, my name is Nik Halik, otherwise known as the Thrillionaire. I am also a lifestyle strategist, and I teach you how to live a 5-day weekend lifestyle. So why should you be listening to me today over here? One thing seldom heard from a webinar or an online call or live on stage is I encourage everybody right now to Google who I am. Now, obviously, it's not who I am, what I think I am, or what I say. It's what Google says I am and who I am. And there's hundreds of thousands of searches, and probably the first thing that comes up is a Wikipedia page and a whole list of social media. Across social media, there's probably about close to about 1 million individuals that sort of follow me on all social media. And you can probably find out anything there is to know about me just on the web, okay? So I'm an open book, I'm very transparent, I keep things real, and one thing about me, I will never do anything to jeopardize my reputation because that is very, very sacred to me. And I'll give you a perfect example over here. Now, I have different companies around the world. In fact, my Australian business is based in Melbourne. My Melbourne business, 15 years strong now, we still have the same telephone number. And in the world of business, I think that's that says a lot about validation, because we're long term, we do the right thing, and we're all about emotionally and financially inspiring. You see, I want to provide and I want to build up your emotional and your financial muscle. And that's exactly why our business, 15 years now, and we're still going strong. Why? Because it's all about what? Success stories and some phenomenal clients in relation to just sharing the love and the passion. I wrote a book called The Thrillionaire some time ago. It's become an international bestseller now. And the book was, it's an amazing story about adventure and wealth interspersed with personal education, personal development, and financial literacy over here. And you're probably thinking, well, what was my background? Well, here's my background. I originally came from the music industry. I'm a former rock star. I was a lead guitarist in a major rock band. We toured around the world. In fact, I've been touring around the world since my late teenage years. In fact, I did my VCE education. I finished high school, got into university. I permanently deferred, and I moved to Hollywood, California as a teenager with about $30,000 cash and traveler's checks. And I had a guitar and I had a suitcase, but with a crazy dream of getting signed up to a record label and just touring around the world. Well, I did that for a number of years. In fact, over a decade, did about 4,500 gigs until eventually the industry pretty much consumed my life, and I just needed to change the chapter. And the next decade, I just proclaimed that I was going to do something very, very different. And it was more like giving back. And in the famous words of Socrates, in life, you're only measured by your contributions. So for me, I already had an extensive passive income, at that particular point. And, I had a lot of investment properties. I had different businesses that I was generating money out of. And I was then asked to, go on stage and just share the passion in relation to how I invest. And then one thing led to another, and clients wanted coaching and mentoring. And then, 15 years later, now I've been able to impact over 350,000 individuals in 31 countries and in about 12 different languages too. So some really exciting stuff there. For the music industry, I then left that, was traveling around the world for a couple of years, and then I found myself in Moscow, Russia, fulfilling one of my boyhood dreams about becoming a civilian astronaut. And I've literally invested millions of dollars of my own money, and spent a number of years living on a Russian military base. And in October of 2008, I finally got certified as a civilian astronaut. In fact, the first Aussie civilian astronaut representing the Australian flag. So pretty cool there, definitely. I speak all around the world, some of the biggest stages on the planet, and a lot of press, a lot of newspaper articles, videos, and magazines, and what have you. And I've literally done hundreds and hundreds of radio interviews and lots of television interviews and whatever too. In fact, tonight, Current Affair have all had stories about my life story, because it pretty much all started when I was age 8. I drafted my top 10 hit list, and I pretty much drafted the screenplay to my life. And for the last 32 years plus, I've been in pursuit of knocking off every list of goals that I wrote down as a young 8-year-old. And pretty much as it stands right now, 8 down and 2 to go over here. So I go around the world teaching individuals how to become a millionaire, how to disconnect yourself from the system, how to become an entrepreneur, how to create your own stimulus plan, how to create your own personal economy. And I teach something called the Nik theory, which is a step-by-step approach, how I can take anybody worldwide, irrespective of the demographics and the geographical locations of your life. I can show you the exact formula that you can actually incorporate into the interior and exterior of your life, whatever you choose. So for me, I love to just pass on the baton of passion, really inspire you, and I really provide you a great snapshot in relation to what is actually possible in your life. And I'll tell you something right now. In life, there are 2 most important days: the day you were born and the day you discovered why you were born. This core is really excavating your life's purpose, recalibrating your life's purpose, and then monetizing your passion. And I'm not just talking about creating a business, because a simple business will allow you to simply survive. But I'm talking about how you now can become a formidable brand, because once you create a formidable brand, you now thrive. That's a really important element about business over here. I've been very fortunate. I've toured around the world with the likes of Bill Clinton over here. I've been on stage with Branson a number of times over here. You know, I'm also one of the exclusive teachers teaching cash flow strategies for Robert Kiyosaki. And for those interested in the type of personal investment to become a civilian astronaut, well, that's your investment over here. In fact, there's been a lot of write-ups right across the world. That's the investment, about $30 million over here. And what is also ironically interesting is, although I have no tertiary qualifications, I am a guest lecturer at Harvard University in Boston, Massachusetts. That is, I teach at Harvard University. And I've taught there a number of times, and for me, it's an amazing experience simply teaching street smarts, how to be an entrepreneur, and pretty much how to be a global investor, just teaching individuals at Harvard University. So it's a wonderful honor. And there's been a lot of press about me teaching at Harvard University. One of the articles was all about this Aussie maverick entrepreneur shaking up Harvard's brightest for how to create wealth in the fast lane. So it's been an amazing honor to be teaching at Harvard University. There's a picture of myself in my funky red jacket with the dean of Harvard. So some great stuff there. Pretty exciting. So, Patrick, if you're there, I want to talk about financial cancer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure this is something that you often hear about. And one thing I want to just impress upon our listeners today is, first up, I guess I want to ask for permission. Permission to be brutally blunt, honest, and transparent, and pretty much tell you exactly what I truly believe you need to listen to, as opposed to telling you all the things that you want to hear. One thing about me, I will never sugarcoat. I'm all about logical prowess. I mean, I will tell you exactly as it is. So, Patrick, with everybody's permission, can I continue?
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. I'll give it a big thumbs up on that one. And I don't think there's anybody on the call tonight who'd want to hear anything less. We certainly wouldn't expect any less of you. So thanks so much for sharing that story. It's just extraordinary to hear a little bit more and get some of those insights. What an incredible...
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
So thank you so much for sharing. And look, really looking forward to hearing what's coming up. You have permission. Nik Halik, take it away.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Patrick, and thank you for everybody else too. So financial cancer is this. Think about the 4 different ways that you're currently generating some form of income. And I'm going to prove it to you right now in real time. Now, folks, listen carefully. And look, please don't take anything personal. And I say this right now with all the love in the world, with all due respect. Most individuals, in fact, 95% of the adult working population in Australia have a JOB, where they're an employee working for somebody else. Now, if you have one single source of income, and that single source of income is active, meaning that's your blood, sweat, and tears. That's your hard slog. You have to rock up to work every day to get paid. If you don't rock up, you don't get paid. So that income source is active, okay? Most Australians have one single source of active income. And on top of that, they've got 100% reliance on that active source of income. In other words, they're hoping and wishing on an outcome 100% out of their control. How do I know that? And I'll tell you why now. Because none of you, with all due respect, have a guarantee from your employer guaranteeing you 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years of employment. And if anybody has a document of a guarantee by their employer, let me know so. Because I doubt you're going to find any qualified candidates there. The reality is this. You're rocking up to work with the hope your employer has enough money to pay you at the end of the week. In other words, you're putting your hand out for a what? A handout. And you're hoping your employer has enough money in his bank account or her bank account to pay you. That's what I call speculation. That's gambling. And if you're a parent right now, and with all due respect, that's a very selfish predicate modality. Why? Because you're risking the livelihood of your family because you have no guarantee. You're rocking up to work with the hope you're going to get paid. And a couple of things, folks. There's 2 words that I really despise, the words hope and wish. And I'll tell you why. Because when you're hoping and you're wishing, there's no certainty. There's nothing definitive about it. You're guessing. You're speculating. And what do Australians do? And they do it really, really well. They speculate their way to what? Financial disaster. That's why most adult working Australians have financial cancer. One single source of income, it's active, 100% reliance on it. And you know what? That income source is not recession proof. Why? Because in economic decline, what's the first thing that goes? JOBs. That's why there's high unemployment. And I want you to really dive into this. And I'm going to prove to you right now whether or not you have financial cancer. Okay? Now, for you to have a job, for you to have employment, you're reliant on the economy to go which way? Up. Because if the economy is going up, the economy is expanding. That means more people have more cash. That means employers can do what? Take on more workers. So think about it. For your ability to have a JOB, you need the economy to go which way? Up. Now, I'm sure you've got some form of super, whether it's superannuation with somebody else, wearing a suit and tie is losing it for you and charging you exorbitant fees, or you're a little bit more sophisticated and you've got a self-managed super fund. Irrespective over here, in order for you to make money in your superannuation, you're reliant on the international economies and the Australian economy to go which way? Up. Now, when you invest in property, what do? You buy property with the hope that property does what? Goes up. Okay? That means in a rising economy. And if you buy shares, the traditional way, you're buying shares with the hope those shares do what? Go up. That is, once again, in a rising economy. So if you're reliant on an upward direction on any one of those four, you have financial cancer. Why? Because you only have 1/3 of an opportunity to make money. That means by default, by the law of the universe, you have 2/3 stacked up against you. Patrick, does that make sense?
Nick, it's scary. It's terrifying how much sense that makes. I'm listening and going, geez, this is serious business.
And think about it, because we don't challenge it, because as adults, we simply accept the status quo. We don't probe, we don't ask questions. We merely accept that's the way things are.
That's
Whereas,
just how it's always been, right? That's how it is, and it's how we condition.
Exactly, because you know what it is? We accept mediocrity. And here's the interesting thing. And people say, you know what? I got to work hard. I got to work harder. I need to be working 15-hour days, grinding away for what? There's this bullshit male bravado, this testosterone alpha type modality. We suggest you need to be working 15-hour days, 6 days a week. Well, where's your lifestyle? If you've got kids, I mean, you're not accountable to your kids. And chances are your kids will learn how to walk, and you were not there for the first time when they set foot walking on their own power. That's not a lifestyle. All you're doing is you're working in a job by necessity, doing whatever it takes to survive. See, one thing I want to teach you, and with all due respect, folks, and with your permission, I want to teach you how to have a career of choice. And then once we define that career of choice, then we can monetize that career of choice. And that's when you thrive, as opposed to just merely surviving. Because individuals who are employees and they're slaving away, working hard enough for work so you don't get sacked, and the employer's going to pay you just enough so you don't quit. Where's the logic? Where's the logic? It's the law of diminishing intent, doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different outcome. It really is. It's insanity. And capitalism. This is what happens as adults. The whole conditioning of capitalism. In fact, what created capitalism? Well, the background story to capitalism is what? Academia. Because you can be academically brilliant. You can be academically qualified. You can be academically smart and intelligent with all the letters after your name and all these qualifications and certificates on your bedroom wall that really, at the end of the day, it only impresses your mother. But you can be financially what? Ignorant. Let me say that one more time. You could be academically intelligent, but financially what? Illiterate. You could be academically brilliant, but experientially devoid. We have no life. You could be a solopreneur, be a doctor earning $400,000. But you know what? You're spending and losing money, and your business is 100% reliant on you. That's not a lifestyle. Solopreneurs don't make money. Solopreneurs just have their credentials. And then the first ones who are running up and maxing out their credit cards, they're the ones who are slaving away negative gearing their properties and the cash flow poor. Capitalism was designed to do one thing and only, folks, to make sure that you take on way too much what? Bad debt. It's consumerism. Bad debt. Because we've been conditioned to do what? To buy crap. To buy crap. Other crap that does not serve our life. And I'll give you a perfect example over here. And this is a phenomenon right around Australia. These days, very seldom do you visit an Australian family and all you see in the garage is just a car. You don't. What else do you see in the garage? You see all this junk piled up on the walls, on the rafters, all over the place. Why? Because the house is full of crap. And then they start filling the garage full of crap. And when the garage is full of crap, what do they do now? Australians are now embracing what? Storage units, to fill up the storage units full of crap. And everything in these storage units is just out of crap that doesn't serve any purpose. It's just depreciating what? Items. And that's consumerism. That's capitalism, folks. That is capitalism. Because we've been designed to do what? To keep on spending and spending and spending. That's what keeps the economies alive over here. So every time you introduce the words pay, buy, or spend, you're losing money. And when you're using one single source of income, of revenue, and then using after-tax dollars to service your lifestyle, where everything in your lifestyle is guaranteed to lose your money, and then you go on vacation to spend more money on your credit card, where's the logic? Now you've got a credit card that's maxed out, you apply for a second credit card to handle the interest payments on your first credit card, now you're maxing out your second credit card, now you go to the bank to get a personal loan to pay for your credit cards, otherwise known as a consolidation loan. And where's the logic? Whatever happened to the investments? Whatever happened to assets? So you get caught up in the trenches. Caught up in the trenches. You don't know any better. And all you're doing is you're working hours and hours and hours and hours just to service the interest rate. The interest on the principal amount. And you use the principal amount to buy utter crap. And that's how the system will always dominate. Now, here's the thing. You won't change the system, but you can live in a parallel world, in a world where you create your own economy as opposed to being dictated to by your country's respective economy. See, I'm going to teach you how to create your own stimulus plan for life. I'm going to teach you how to future-proof your income. I'm going to teach you exactly how to recession-proof your income. I'm going to teach you exactly. And I want you to imagine this. Imagine a lifestyle where you are recession-proof, where you are future-proof, and you have multiple businesses around the world, and you get to travel. Why? Because you get to run your business on your smartphone. And listen very carefully, folks. You've got a smartphone. I know for a fact. And if you don't have a smartphone, then you must have a really dumb phone. A smartphone will allow you to travel around the world and still do what? Generate income, irrespective, 24/7, 365 days a year. You see, as an entrepreneur, folks, I don't discriminate between a public holiday, a weekday, or a weekend. Every day is a day of opportunity. That's why I don't buy into this 3-day long weekends or whatever too, because I have a 5-day weekend lifestyle. Remember, I've got that 8 months on, 4 months off type lifestyle. Are you dialing into this, Patrick?
Nick, this is extraordinary. I mean, we're just you're painting a grim picture, and the problem with it's all too common, it's all too real, and we're just looking at friends and family, looking at people I know, and just going, that's exactly their life. And you're looking at myself not so long ago, that's exactly the life we were living, and going, this is a scary thing. How do we cut out this financial cancer, Nick?
Absolutely, definitely. I'll explain. It's like, I've got to paint the picture because, irrespective of how rosy economies go up and down, irrespective, most individuals, even when the economy is going gangbusters, it's doing amazing. If you still have one single source of income, that's dangerous. And I'll give you a perfect example over here. In WA, Kalgoorlie has one single source of revenue, and that's what? Mining. Okay? Kalgoorlie's life, if you look at Kalgoorlie as an example over here, okay? Kalgoorlie is really based on the price of gold. When gold was traveling at about $1,800 or $1,900 an ounce, Kalgoorlie was pumping. They were employing thousands and thousands of miners, and the town was expanding and expanding and getting bigger and bigger. But now, when gold has just dropped around $1,200 an ounce, they've laid off 15,000 miners. What's my point there?
Wow.
The entire town of Kalgoorlie was based on what? One single source of revenue, the price of gold. See, Australia as a government, see, Australia as a business, what's the single source of revenue for the Australian government? Tax. The Americans, tax. In Greece, for example, well, Greece, the national sport in Greece is tax evasion, so they really can't take in taxes from the populace because the populace doesn't pay tax. That's the Mediterranean mindset again. But you know what? Greece, 95% of Greece's revenue is tourism. Now, why is that dangerous? Because imagine this: what if there was an airline strike during the Greek summer? What if there was volcanoes spewing volcanic ash and planes refused to fly? What would happen to the entire tourist season? It'll shut down. And there goes 95% of the revenue and GDP. Can you see how risky that is? See, even governments have financial cancer. And the average citizen with one single source of income, well, guess what? If your other half is pregnant, you've got 2 kids in college, and your wife's about to give birth in 3 months' time, and you've got 3 negative gear properties, you've got a personal loan, you've got 2 credit cards maxed out, and you just lose your job. How are you going to service your life now? And you can start to see the reality. So we got screwed. Trusted in what economies? We trusted everybody. And I'm telling you right now, never be reliant on anybody but yourself, because you are the most qualified individual. You are the most unique individual in the world. It's all up to you. And if you're not working on your own goals, folks, please. If you're not working on your own goals, you're working towards somebody else's goals. And if you're drafting a screenplay to your life, make sure that you're the one that's going to be holding the pen at all times over here. And I'll tell you something right now. And I want to ask you this question, and I want you to really dial into the frequency and really calibrate on, the predicate of what I'm referencing right now. My question to you right now is this: where is the richest place in the world? Where is the richest place in the world? I'll tell you what it is. The richest place in the world is the graveyard. It's the graveyard of all the unfulfilled dreams. See, in life, you have to fight for your dreams. Otherwise, unfulfilled dreams have a habit of haunting you for the rest of your life. We need to probe, ask questions, challenge the status quo. That's why kids are phenomenal, because kids question everything. They're very question orientated. But as adults, we're a product of what? Academia, because academia does what? It'll spit you out as a taxpayer into what? A JRB, as an employee. Where all you do is you just service your life with after-tax dollars. And you got one single source of income, it's active, and 100% reliance on that one single source of active income. And you can have all the qualifications in the world, but it means shit at the end of the day. Because if you can't service your family, if you can't provide a livelihood to your family and your kids, then why are you doing what you're doing? It just doesn't make sense. We are connected to and controlled by the system over here. No financial literacy over here. I mean, academia is simply a factory assembly plant for the sole purpose of producing taxpayers. See, I'm pro-education, but I'm anti-academia. I'm pro-education. And never let academia get in the way of a good education. Because 95% of your real education takes place when you leave school. It's all the things that matter, because academia has nothing to do about servicing your life, furnishing it. All it does is teaches you a whole bunch of irrelevant subjects and negatively conditions you, the employee type mindset. And you get my point over here.
Nik, what's just extraordinary about this is not that, I mean, it's a grim picture for sure, but it's not uncommon. You know, I don't think that there wouldn't be anybody on the call tonight who can't relate to this. It's not like, you're just, you're being negative. I mean, this is the reality of our families, of our communities, of our nation. This is what we're living in right now, and everyone's got a direct experience of this. It's just And it's not until someone like you actually comes along and says it out loud and kind of shakes us up a bit, and we look at it and go, my God, that's my life. You know, that's what's going on here. That's what my friends and family, that's what's normal in our society, in our culture. This is what we accept.
Absolutely. And you know what?
Someone like
if we don't sort of dial into the reality of this, what we're basically doing is we're just fooling ourselves. You know, it's called the law of diminishing intent. See, an alcoholic cannot shake alcoholism unless they raise a level of awareness in the first place so that they are indeed an alcoholic. See, I'm telling you, I know you got financial cancer, but you need to raise your level of awareness and understand why and how you have financial cancer. See, you can it's your choice whether it remains benign or malignant. And if it's malignant, it's going to metastasize. And guess what? You're going to die at 21 years of age and you'll get buried at 75. Why? Because your life is going to flatline. Ooh. It's going to be a repeat. You're going to work 1 year, repeat it 40 times over with the hope of retiring. And let's face it, do not get me started on the word retirement. Because if you choose to retire, the worst thing you can ever do. Because within 10 years of retirement, most people tend to what? They die. And all you're basically doing is you want to fade into obscurity in preparation to die. It doesn't make sense. If you love your life, you would have no desire to retire. Individuals or employees want to retire. Why? Because they despise their life. That's why they want to retire. And folks, I so want you to dial into what I'm saying here. You know that I am passionate. I'm enthusiastic. I'm very passionate about what I want to share with you here. But you need to understand that unless you confront life head on, because life moves pretty fast, if you don't stop looking around, you will miss it. You're going to miss it. We need to vaccinate and inoculate ourselves. And when you look at the 40-hour work week, it was the biggest counterfeiting sting that's been perpetrated on the human populace. During the Industrial Revolution, factories needed to be running around the clock, so employees during this era could work 10 to 16-hour days. And it wasn't until in the early 1900s that Henry Ford said, you know what? Workers need to be working 8 hours a day, not 10 or 16 hours a day. And you're probably thinking, Henry Ford, dude, awesome, man. You're such a kind guy. Listen very carefully, folks. Here's a bit of a history lesson here. Henry Ford reduced the amount of work hours from 10 to 16 hours down to 8 hours per day. Why? I'll tell you. Because they worked out if you gave the worker more leisure time, more downtime, they then they can find a use and they've got free time to go out there and what? Spend the money that they make. Does that make sense, Patrick?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is what lubricates the world economies by what? Because we're a consumer-led society. That's what capitalism does. Capitalism is controlled by what? The amount of lubrication of wealth with the amount of money we can spend. And then during economic decline, we have less money to spend. So we're either spending way too much money indiscriminately or we have nothing to spend. There's two economies. That's it. And even if the economy is going wonderful over here, guess what? You're making a little bit more. You'll get more employment, but you're spending more money indiscriminately. And when the economy goes to shit, now you're servicing all the bad debt you've absorbed during the greedy phase, and your employment, there's no guarantee there because in economic decline, there is high unemployment. And your superannuation's tanking. So people really don't understand what they're doing over here. And it's really, really an unfortunate scenario over here. So Henry Ford really sort of proliferated the 8-hour workday, the 40-hour work week, just to ensure that more people had more leisure time to spend. What? Now, this was Henry Ford's private agenda. So they did what? And according to Henry Ford, he said the following: leisure is an indispensable ingredient in a growing consumer market because working people need to have enough free time to find uses for consumer products, including automobiles. Thank you, Henry Ford.
Wow.
Amazing private agenda. And I wonder what industry Henry Ford was involved in. Wow, automobiles, because he's the one who really pioneered the factories. And the crazy thing is, we live in an entrepreneurial world. We live in a very technological world, but yet we still think in a very industrial age, right? Because we still report to a workstation, a cubicle, or a factory floor. As an entrepreneur, you can be anywhere in the world. So why are you tied up to somewhere else? You can be anywhere in the world. with your smartphone, with your iPad, with your laptop. But yet, how many of us, just like an elephant with a stake in the ground, and we're stuck in an office cubicle or a factory floor, whereas we could be anywhere in the world? Financial cancer. So we take our income, and with after-tax dollars, what do? We go with after-tax dollars from our income, and we go straight to what? Lifestyle. And everything in your lifestyle is guaranteed to lose your money. In fact, name me one thing in your lifestyle that's making you money. And a lot of us, we spend and spend and spend. And in most cases, wanting to impress people we don't particularly like in the first place. Where's the logic there?
Yep. That's not a job you'd want.
The Dalai Lama, when asked what surprised him most about humanity, he said, man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money. Then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. And then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he's never going to die, and then he dies having never really lived.
Ouch.
That's the most profound thing you're going to ever read in your life. Just there, folks. Patrick, it's so true, right?
So true. So true.
We're grinding away. We want to make money. And then in your 40s, with debilitating health. And then we spend our 50s and our 60s, all our money trying to buy back our health. Where was the lifestyle? Where was the lifestyle there? Where was the time there? Where was that rite of passage? We spend more time for your son, your daughter. Forget about Valentine's Day. How about every day should be a Valentine's Day? Every day should be a Christmas Day in relation to the providing of gifts around the world. Why allow society to dictate which day you need to act and how to act? Why? Because we've bought the system. The system dominates our life. In fact, money is the master of our domain. We allow money to override all our human emotions. Where money should be our obedient, diligent servant or nothing at all. But no, we allow money to dominate our lives. Why? Because we're so busy chasing it. Now here's the reality. We're busy being busy. Write this down. Busy people do not make money. I'll tell anybody right now. You work on your mind. You work on a filtering system. You work on your CPU. You work on your hard drive, which is your mind, your mindset. If you solidify your foundations to personal development and understand how the mind works with neuroplasticity and basically, the whole thing about mold, how to mold, and the whole aspect of just, being a paradigm pioneer and just reshaping the calibration and the energy cycles of your life, then money happens by default because your thinking becomes evolutionary, it becomes organic, and money happens on autopilot, and you can't stop torrents of money pouring into your life. But what do? Those who chase the money are the ones who chase speculative behavior with the hope of making money. That's why there are some individuals who are dead broke. And how do I know? Because if you get paid weekly, you're 1 week from being bankrupt. If you get paid monthly, you're 1 month of being bankrupt, irrespective of the economic climate, whether it's boom or bust. That's how dangerous it is. And have a look at this. If you look at the typical corporate triangle over here, you've got the CEOs at the top, presidents, vice presidents, middle management, team leaders. And down the bottom, the individuals that matter, all the way down the bottom. And let's face it, if you want to go from hardworking employee or that blood, sweat, and tear all the way to CEO, that's about 25, 30, or 40 years of kissing ass. And that is a pyramid scheme. Makes you think, huh? And Patrick, I want to share with you what Charles Darwin said. And I think it's an incredible metaphorical message in relation to the whole aspect of who survives in the world. And Charles Darwin, back in 1809, he said, It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. And I want to use another example over here. Let's think back pre-Jurassic days, back in the days of the dinosaurs, you know. It is not the strongest of the species. In fact, the strongest, let's call it the T-Rex. Well, is the T-Rex around today, Patrick? Or is the T-Rex extinct?
No, long gone.
Okay, nor the most intelligent. Well, the raptors were incredibly cunning, calculating, and intelligent. Well, are the raptors around today?
Didn't work for them.
Extinct. But the one most responsive to change. There are animals, reptiles in animal kingdom, who derive from the Jurassic days or whatever. And you know what? They're still around today. Why are they still around when others became extinct? Why? Because they adapted. And it's a great metaphor for life, isn't it? If you adapt, you survive and you thrive. Unless you adapt, you die. And what's interesting about this is it's not the strongest or the most intelligent. In other words, it has nothing to do with your academic qualifications. And it's a beautiful example, isn't it, Patrick?
Mm. Yeah, it's extraordinary. I'm looking at business owners, employees, looking at everybody and going, if what you're doing is working, then great. If what you're doing is not working to the level that you want it to work, you don't need to get smarter. You don't need to get stronger. You need to get more responsive. Right? The world's changed. The system's changed.
Exactly. You adapt. Like right now, technology over here. If you're still working on a factory floor or a cubicle, you're doing something wrong. I mean, you know, I love the art of the duo. I love the art of the entrepreneurial hustle. I love it. But you know what? I can be anywhere worldwide. Why? Because I've adapted to the what? I've adapted to technology and it changes what I do to. I've adapted to, you know, and employees will say the following. Employees will say, oh, there's not enough hours in a day. Bullshit. I don't believe in time management, but I believe in energy management. I get more done in my day than somebody working 20-hour days. And I have so much downtime to spend on me so I can continue growing.
Yeah.
I've been to 135 countries. I travel all around the world and I can still generate money. And here's the thing. Employees will say, oh, if only I can clone myself. Wrong. Why would you want to clone mediocrity? Individuals who are savvy and sophisticated and astute, you know what they do? They optimize themselves.
Wow.
They optimize themselves. Kind of like optimizing a website. You optimize yourself. You don't clone yourself. How ridiculous. So in these uncertain times, what's your plan B? And I'm assuming you have a plan A. So what's your plan B? And chances are, well, you might not even have a plan A. If you were to lose your job right now, in fact, I'll tell anybody right now, if you don't have at least 9 months of salary in an emergency fund account in a bank, then you're clearly doing something wrong. Where's your 9 months of backup? Cash. You need 9 months of salary as a backup. And if you already have some form of debt, good debt, for example, let's say you got a couple of mortgages, you got a couple of property or something. Well, if you owe $200,000, then you need at least 10% of that debt in a bank account. Why? To cover any downside risk. I love control, Patrick. I want to have every buffer, every contingency at all times. So if I have $1 million in debt, good debt, and I love good debt, very different to bad debt. Bad debt is just consumer debt based on what? Crap. And all that crap, 85% of it is made in China. The more crap we buy, the more prosperous China becomes. Look at China in 1990 and look at China today, 2015. Look at the Western world in 1990 and look at the Western world now in 2015. You get my point now. That's consumerism and capitalism out of control. A 5-day weekend lifestyle, folks. Now, right now, I want to redirect you to these dates right now, folks. Do me a favor. Jot these dates down ASAP right now. Okay, Melbourne, April 11th and April 12th. Okay, Sydney, April 18th and 19th. It's coming up. very, very shortly, folks. We've got Melbourne in a couple of weeks' time, and we've got Sydney, okay? They're the dates, folks. Write those dates down over here because I've got a free gift. In fact, I'm going to provide you some general admission tickets over here. It's complimentary, but with your permission. If you're serious, if you want to do whatever it takes, you want to take massive, massive action to cut every sign of retreat and simply give yourself permission to succeed, then I'm going to sponsor you and you can come complimentary, okay? And on top of that, there's over $1,000 worth of free gifts. So you'd be absolutely foolish not to take advantage of this, folks. So have some skin in the game, claim some ownership. Here's some dates, and we're going to come back to this very shortly over here. So have a look at this, financial cancer, okay? Income, after-tax dollars, straight to lifestyle. It's crazy. I want to show you something really, really simple right now. It's called the wealth matrix, folks. And if you can't feel the passion right now, folks, this is where I take it to the next level over here. Why? Because I want you to experience prosperity, okay? This is the art of living life on your own terms and conditions at all stages over here. And I'll tell you something right now. The hardest thing you will ever confront in life is meeting the person that you could have been. And I want you to think about that one more time here. The hardest thing you'll ever confront in life is to meet the person that you could have been. Never live in a what-if world, folks. Could have, should, one day, hope, wish. If you want to do something, you make that conscious decision and you raise your level of what? You raise your level of awareness over here. I want to teach you something really, really simple. It's called the wealth matrix, folks. The wealth matrix has 4 components: income, growth, momentum, and lifestyle, okay? First up, income means all the different forms of revenue, whether it's MLM, your current JOB, your business, your self-employed business, whatever it is, okay? A lot of us, we need to look at different ways of generating more income, more revenue over here. Next, we want to start investing over here, okay? Now, what I do is this. I have a very, very simple rule, okay? If it's an asset, I put a 20% deposit down and I borrow. If it's a liability, I will always pay cash because there's no sense borrowing to buy a liability because a liability is going to cost you money. It's going to lose you money. So why would you want to pay interest on it on top of that? And you're losing money. It's ludicrous. But yet 95% of the adult working population of Australia do what? They borrow money to purchase liabilities. See, I borrow money on assets because assets gives me capital gain, capital growth, and cash flow. But if it's a liability, I always pay cash. It's a very simple rule, folks. That alone will make you an absolute fortune. If you've got kids, it's called parental intervention. It's called accountability. You teach your kids right now. Now, money has 2 human emotions. There's emotionally connected money and emotionally disconnected money. Okay, folks? Now, income. We're going to use a portion of our income revenue and we're going to start investing in what? Growth type investments, growth type strategies over here, okay? Now, the money generated in our growth type investments, the revenue generated in our growth type strategies, that's the money we're going to use to do what? To invest in momentum. Now, momentum strategies are more highly geared, a little bit more aggressive. They carry a little bit of risk, but you can minimize that risk, okay? The money generated in our momentum component of the wealth matrix, that's the money we use to fund, service, and fuel our lifestyle. Remember, everything in your lifestyle is going to lose you money. We use the money generated in our momentum to service our lifestyle. We never use our income to service our lifestyle. But what is interesting is 95% of the adult working population of Australia, what do you think they do? They use their income, after-tax dollars from their income, to service their lifestyle. You do not do that. So what is the perfect strategy to incorporating growth? And I have numerous strategies, some that are very capital growth laced, capital growth orientated, capital gain, or some are cash flow based, okay? So what is important is we need to expand and generate more income streams in our income level. Next, we use a portion of that to invest in growth. Then the revenue generated in growth, that's what we use to fund and invest in momentum. And the revenue generated in momentum, that's the money we use to service our lifestyle. That's a really important component, Patrick.
Brilliant, Nick. We look at that. It's so simple and it's so smart. And then we just go, well, that's, as soon as you come along and say that out loud and you've got a beautiful diagram there that explains it so simply. But like, how many people do we meet who actually do this? Who Who's doing
How
it?
many Australians go from income straight to lifestyle?
Yeah, well, that's the thing to do, isn't it?
They're
You've got some
using
extra money,
they're
go and buy a
using after
TV
tax
or a
they're using
Promenade
after
or
tax dollars. Exactly. I mean,
ah,
they're using after tax dollars to service the lifestyle. And everything in your lifestyle is guaranteed to lose your money, because in your lifestyle, you're paying, you're purchasing, you're buying, or you're spending. Those four words means you're losing money.
we're at the end of
There's
March.
nothing
Right?
else.
Yeah, it's exactly, Nick. We're at the end
There's
of March right
nothing in those
now.
four words that says I'm making money or I'm generating money.
Yeah,
Growth is where you're making and generating money.
we're at the end of March
And
right now. People already looking towards their tax return so that they can go and spend it. Right? That's not even
yeah,
like, come
that's the
on, wake up.
lifeline. That's the lifeline. That's the lifeline. And you know what's crazy in Australia over here? It's like we even give you a public holiday in November. The first Tuesday in November, it's called Melbourne Cup Day. So you can spend, where Australians lose millions of dollars all at the exact same time. And we even give you time off work. Work the logic out there.
Something's going on.
Folks, I have an event. It's called 5-Day Weekend. It's all about transforming your 5-day work week into a 5-day weekend lifestyle over here. And a 5-day weekend lifestyle is where you start to imagine what life on your own terms and conditions is really like over here. So let's reset our financial thermostat right now, okay? Now, we all have a financial thermostat, which determines the level of success that we have in our lives. We've all got a thermostat in our house. Well, you know what? You've got a thermostat to your own level of success. Have you managed to turn it on? Do you know where the switch is? And if you've already turned it on, what's your level at? Are you programmed for $1,000 a year, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, or millions of dollars a year, or billions of dollars a year? What's your setting at? I want you to really dial into this. Growth is important. In fact, the growth component of the wealth matrix is ultra important. And I have multiple strategies, multiple capital growth, cash flow strategies, okay? These are just one element of it. But obviously we need to build a solidified foundation of psychology, filtering all the negativity in our lives, filtering out all the individuals who are high in advice and low on results. And I'm going to tell you something right now, folks. If you're the smartest person in your group of friends, find new friends. If you're the most talented individual in your organization, guess what? Find more talented individuals. You should always be the least intelligent individual in your group of friends. Why? Because it means you're always going to be learning. Because I'm a student of life. And you always want to be in the orbit of individuals that are transmitting the highest frequency of wisdom at all times. And if you're hanging around 9 losers, guess who loser number 10 is?
Yeah.
Folks, I want to share with you, and I don't really have that much time to really drill into some of these strategies over here. The 5-day weekend, I cover so much. And I'm telling you, it is such high, powerful, content-rich information over here. I mean, I've got one particular investment over here that in the last fiscal year did 38.26%. I have another one over here, which is 100% passive. Now, passive is what? It's the opposite of active. Passive is set and forget. This passive investment is averaging 28.2% right now for me. And it's passive. And it's all what? Cash flow. Now, as an opportunity, think of this, right? If you were to borrow money from the banks right now, about 7%, okay? 7%. If you're generating 28.2%, and let's say the cost of the borrowings is 7%, Patrick, how much is your profit?
Making over 20%, 21.2%.
Okay, that's called free money.
Wow.
That's called free money. And it's amazing how some individuals have hundreds of thousands of dollars stuck in superannuation doing what? Single digits. Well, you know what? Stuff that. How about supercharging it?
Yeah.
How about pumping it with a bit of elephant juice and steroids over here? This is an investment over here. It's passive. It's recession proof. And by the way, Patrick, I never mentioned this. Every strategy in my growth component is recession proof, meaning irrespective of economic decline, whatever happens in the economy, it doesn't affect me. I still make money irrespective. That's really important. This is recession proof. Wow. This is recession proof. This is recession proof. And this one's passive. How about this one over here? 24% last year. And this one is mandated by state law. Now, I'm not talking about Australian law. I'm talking about American law over here, where state law protects you and pays you this. In fact, this particular strategy is phenomenal. And look, folks, I'm a pretty sharp person. I'll tell you right now. I only woke up to this particular strategy 5 years ago. How do you think I felt when I got exposed to it? This one is mandated by law and it's recession proof. In fact, during a recession, you make more money. Work that one out. Work that logic out. Let me repeat what I just said. In times of recession, you make even more money.
Wow.
Who does that? How is that even possible? Because in a recession, everyone loses money, but this particular strategy means you make more money. Can you see how I future-proof my income by recession-proofing my income? This other one over here, 63.9%. I'm going to show you exactly how that works.
What?
And I want to show you something right now. These are just some strategies over here, okay? And I'm not going to harp on these because I'm going to teach you, I'm going to show you step by step by step by step by step. I'm going to teach you the formula and how to marinate this and how to apply the secret sauce yourself over here. But allow me to astound you. First up, the dates. Once again, Melbourne, Sydney, they're your dates. This is Business 101. This is Entrepreneurialism 101. This is Money 101. This is Financial Literacy 101. They're your dates, folks. And do not dare come by yourself. Don't be so selfish, folks. Invite your friends, your loved ones. Invite your spouse, your partner. And if you've got teenagers aged between 13 to 17, guess what? They should rock up too. Because let me tell you, folks, you turn a liability into an asset, they're going to become your greatest asset, your kids, that is.
Wow.
Folks, I want to show you something so simple. So simple. Now listen very, very carefully, folks. We've all heard of social media, okay? Whether it's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or whatever. Patrick, I assume that you're pretty much involved in all the social media platforms, correct?
Yeah, you bet.
Okay. Well, and now Patrick, just you can validate this for me, right? Social media is complimentary. It's free to join, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
Why? Because, and what irritates me, people say, oh, it takes money to make money. Crap. I'm going to show you how to make money right now doing something that costs you no money. I'm going to show you how to make money doing something you're already doing. But I'm going to show you how to monetize. And I want to give you a perfect example. Twitter. Now, I'm going to show you how to reset your social media and personal branding thermostat. Here's a quick little strategy. And by the way, I only teach this at the 5-day weekend lifestyle. This is brilliant. Now listen carefully. It goes, and a bit of a background to the story is this. If you're not different, you're like every other nail in the same bucket. There's nothing that differentiates you. In fact, you're drowning in a sea of sameness, okay?
Yuck.
Twitter, it's free to join. You can find free followers. You can create your own community, okay? And you can tweet for free. Now, when you tweet, you're given about 140 characters, okay? 140 characters means, for example, the word five, F-I-V-E, that's 4 characters, okay? A comma is a character. A full stop is a character. A space bar is a character. You get given 140 characters. Me, I can type up 140 characters on my iPhone, and it'll take me about 12, 13, or 14 seconds. Fact, okay? And let's say you're a slow typer on your phone or your computer, and it took you 20 seconds. Well, 140 characters will take you 20 seconds. What I'm about to share with you right now is this, folks. For every tweet that I send, I can generate $1,500 per tweet.
Wow.
Now, folks, this here is a screenshot from a website which advertises what I charge per tweet. Folks, I've monetized social media. Why? Because I built a tribe, a community, whatever to you. And I want to show you something over here. We send out possibly 3 or 4 tweets in relation to specific messages to the marketplace. And there are advertisers, sponsors, that pay me to send out that tweet in relation to the particular message. And you got to think about this. My team and I, We probably send out about anywhere between 11 to about 20 tweets per day. Now I could send out 11 advertising messages per day, but you know what? I choose not to. And most, probably about 4 per month. Okay? Now I want you to think about this. Even at 4 tweets in relation to advertising messages, that's $6,000. Now have a look at this. And what if I sent out only 3 marketing messages? Have a look at this. That's $4,500 per month, 3 advertisements, tweets per month, 20 seconds per 140 character tweet. That means 1 minute's work. That's $4.5 grand cash. As US dollars, folks, which equates to about $5,500 Australian. And you know the thing is, why would I want to spend 1 minute doing that to generate $5,500? I outsource that to somebody else. Why? Because time is what? It's precious. It's priceless. So don't tell me it takes money to make money. I've totally destroyed that myth. Patrick, pretty crazy, right?
It's insane, Nick. We can't wait to hear more. I mean, anyone who's even, who's listening to this, be at the event. You have to be there. I want to hear all of these strategies.
Yeah, absolutely. And then do you remember what I said before? Get paid to think and outsource the administration of your ideas to others. What do I do here? I've outsourced it to somebody else to do it for me. Who follows? Your time is what? It's priceless. And I'll tell you something right now. Patrick, listen very, very carefully, guys. In life, you will never own anything. You're simply a caretaker. I want you to think about that. Once you really digest what I just said, in life, you will never own anything. You're just a caretaker. Yeah. Really dial into what I just said there. And have a look at this. This came out just recently too. I am in the top 100 Twitter users in the world, in the entertainment capital of the world. That is Hollywood, California. My cost per tweet is going to go up to $4,000 per tweet very, very shortly. So if I'm sending out 3 messages per month, that's $12,000 US dollars, which is about $15,000 Australian per month. That is over $160,000 per year. And I did nothing to do that, to earn that. Patrick, it's pretty crazy, right?
That's just mad, Nick. That's fantastic. And I had no idea that this was that kind of money just from Twitter, right?
Yeah. Have a look at this. So you can have your own full-time employee, and I'm going to show you the 5-day weekend where they can cost you as little as $2 per hour, and they can do 8 hours per day, 40 hours per week for you, 160 hours per month for you, and you'll be only paying $300 per month, and you'll have your own full-time employee to do this all for you. Wow. This is what I teach you, 5-day weekend lifestyle. In fact, I'm also going to show you how to travel for free. Folks, we all love to travel, yes?
Yeah,
we all love to travel. Okay, we all love to travel. But how about I show you how you can travel for free? Think about that. How to travel for free. That's how powerful this is. How to travel for free. It's insane. It's insane. It really is over here. Absolutely insane over here.
Wow.
Traveling for free over here. So folks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to encourage you. In fact, I'm going to sponsor you, okay? You can attend the 5-day weekend event, and I'm going to provide journal admission tickets that will be complimentary and free for you. That's the dates, Melbourne and Sydney, okay? Now, have a look at this, folks. Here's the website you want to go to over here. It's 5dayweekend.com.au. It's miracle5dayweekend.com.au. You can also invest in a VIP gold ticket, and there's over $2,500 worth of free bonuses, or you can invest in a VIP ambassador seat. And the VIP ambassador seat is for high-end investors, where we're going to have a private dinner and we're going to have a lot of personalized contact throughout the weekend. And I'll show you how to build a business plan. It's pretty powerful over here. But you know what? There's 3 choices here, folks. I'm going to sponsor you, where you can come on board on a general admission and you can attend free. But I suggest if you're serious and you want to take massive action, come in as a VIP Gold and a VIP Ambassador. The website you want to go to is 5dayweekend.com.au. You get all these bonuses, folks. I'm going to send you copies of my book. I'm also going to send you an audio CD ASAP over here. Okay? This is what you're going to get. Over $1,100 worth of free bonus gifts. The website is 5dayweekend.com.au, folks. And folks, the event is free. I'm going to sponsor you. But what I do, if you want to come in as a VIP Gold or VIP Ambassador, guess what? I want you to donate money purely as a gesture of goodwill to one of my favorite charities, which is the Orangutan Outreach. So pretty powerful there, okay? Keep it nice and real,
Hang on,
organic.
Nick. Are you
And
saying that $59 for the VIP gold ticket and the ambassador ticket, you're not even collecting that money? You're going to give all of that straight to the orangutans?
that's all it is. If I'm going to say, if you want to raise your standards, all I'm going to say is, you know what? You donate to charity, and the charity of my choice is the orangutans, and then I'll later come as a VIP gold or a VIP ambassador, which means
Nick,
I
that's
take it
extraordinary.
to the next level.
That is so generous. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, obvious. Have a look at this. The VIP gold over here. The bonuses over here. It's pretty powerful. Look at all you get over here. You get the MP3s. You get a home study pack over here. You get my book over here. In fact, my book, I'm also going to sign it for you. When I sign it for you, I'm going to add about 30% of the valuation of the book. Last I heard, one of my books was going on eBay for about $180 with my signature. And you're going to get a free copy of my book. So guess what? This whole event, you rock up, it's already profit from day one. That's how you know your ROI upfront day one. Upfront day one.
Nick, I see there's absolutely no downside here. If you're sponsoring the ticket, all the money's going to the events. I'm getting books, CDs, all these bonuses. This is extraordinarily generous. And what I love, thank you so much for this opportunity for everybody on the call. 5dayweekend.com.au, get onto the site. But what I love, Nick, is that this isn't speculation. This isn't, guess and hope and dependent on external forces, on banks and governments and economies. This is all based on financial literacy, financial education, and really educating yourself on the strategies that are working right now to get these kind of extraordinary returns. And I love, Nick, what you're talking about is getting people to be empowered to do this for themselves, to gain the education.
Absolutely. If you don't empower yourself, you're going to allow life to disempower you. And here's the thing, never allow anybody else's opinions to define your reality, because it's all about you. It's always been about you. Have your own agenda. You're not working towards your own life, you're working towards somebody else's. Build you up, build your brand, build your life, maximize your gain. Otherwise, you'll be maximizing somebody else's gain. Folks, here are the dates, Melbourne and Sydney over here. Here's the website you want to go to, 5dayweekend.com.au. Patrick, that is it from me, my friend.
That's it.
And
like I said, type that into your browser right now, 5-day weekend, and we can go there. We can find out more information about the event, but also register on that page, right? And I can make the donation to the orangutans right there?
Absolutely, definitely. Absolutely, and come to the event. Any money that gets raised, I actually match it, and I donate it personally. So once again, it's a phenomenal time to look, do not come by yourself. Make sure you bring a business partners, your work colleagues, friends, your neighbors, anybody who's willing to take their life to the next level over here. On top of that, bring your spouse or partner. It's called harmonic growth. Grow together. Otherwise, you're going to be inspired and empowered, and you're going to go home, and he or she's going to think you just joined a cult. Right? It's not a cult. This is a 5-day weekend movement, folks. Patrick, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for the invite. Folks, have an amazing time, and I'll see you very
soon. Such a pleasure, Nik Halik. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Bye for now. Wow, what an extraordinary session. What massive value. And what's resonating for me is what Nik shared about the hardest thing that you're ever going to have to face in this life is meeting that man or meeting that woman that you could have been. Don't let that ever happen. Be that man, be that woman that you could have been. Jump onto the website, get onto the page where you can make the donation to the orangutans, clear that date in your calendar. Be there. You will be so glad you did. I look forward to seeing you there. I wouldn't miss it. Thank you so much for your time. And we'll speak to you all again soon. Thanks. Bye for now.